Awesome. A little bit later than expected. Because I had a little one who wanted to join. Okay, awesome. It works. Whew. 2021 has started. I don't know about you, but 2021 is starting off on a very interesting foot. I think that's what we all need. A deep breath in and out. It's an unusual start of 2021. Let's just jump right in. I want to share with you the Astro insights of 2021. But I cannot start without not addressing this. And obviously what happened in the US in the past few days. I've been watching it. And it's hard to find words for it. And a part of me wanted to not address it because it's not astrology. Or actually it is. It depends on how you look at it. But so many people in the spiritual world are denying what is happening, have these crazy conspiracy theories. And I just want to come out and tell you that I don't want to be part of that. Like, I'm not part of any conspiracy theory. What is happening is shocking. But it's something that has been happening for decades. For centuries, actually, not just decades. Right now, what is happening is that we are seeing it. And especially if I speak for myself as a white woman, things are coming to the surface that they've always been there. But now we see them on the mainstream, on social media. They're everywhere. And it's just not okay. And I do not know my role in it. I don't know what words to use. I don't know what to say, what to do. But I do know that I do need to speak up about this. And I do want to take a stand that it's shocking. What happened storming the Capitol, that's terrorism. I mean, it's just, beyond what I thought was possible, and I also acknowledge that is very naive. But I do wanted to share this, and especially for everyone watching who's in the US, I want to let you know I'm here. If there's anything from my side that we can do, know that I am thinking of all of you. And let's just hope that we can start really reforming the system, taking our responsibilities, and not saying it was them, because it was all of us. That's what I wanted to start with before diving into the January forecast. Let's all just take a deep breath. Because whatever you're dealing with right now is valid and it deserves to be seen. And it's something that you don't have to deny what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. So I just wanted to put that out there before I dive into the Astro insights for January 2021. The first week already started with a lot of intense energy. So we have a lot of people been asking, is 2020 over? Like, is it over yet? Are the energies over yet? And yes, we have turned over to 2021, a lot of the energies, a lot of the intensity is still going to be around. Last year, we had a lot of Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto coming together all the time, making all kinds of conjunctions. Jupiter and Pluto have not necessarily left the stage completely, but they have gone a little bit to the background. And this year, Saturn is still very present, but this year it is forming squares with Uranus 3 times this year. Also, we have Mars finally leaving Aries, moving into Taurus, Mercury moving into Aquarius. So there's a lot of changing of signs happening. So on the 4th, Mercury was conjunct to Pluto in Capricorn. And this was a really excellent day to starting to see how the combination of the way that we communicate to Pluto, which is the planet of radical change, of transformation, of really digging deep into the unconscious and getting rid of all that no longer serves by just completely burning the things down to the ground. Now, I do see a very strong correlation with all the things that took place in the US in these last few days, especially with Mars entering Taurus. Mars has spent almost 6 months in Aries. Aries is the sign that Mars rules. And there was a lot of fire. There was a lot of anger, of aggression in that sign. Also because Mars made a lot of aspects to Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, make it even more challenging. And there was a lot of strong and fiery energy. Now Mars moved into Taurus. It is moving more into stable and practical ground, but it is still squaring Uranus. So there's a lot of steam that needs to be blown off, and there's a lot of the practical side of this, like looking at confronting things, really searching for the confrontation. And that is something that has been happening, obviously, in the last few days, where confrontation was being provoked, and people stepping over their boundaries and really just going for what they thought was necessary. Unfortunately, they also hurt a lot of people with that. Let me just double check if everything is working here, because I just received a message that it's not. So with all of that intense energy, with all of this this movement happening, and this it's a change of pace. And when the pace changes, some people want to just lash out and not go with that energy, not go with that smooth energy, not going along. They just want to fight it and make sure that change isn't happening. So on January 7th, Mercury entered Aquarius and Venus entered Capricorn. Now, when Mercury enters Aquarius, Mercury stands for our communication, the way that we think, our rational thinking. When it enters Aquarius, the way that you communicate is really elevated. It really experiences the freedom, opposed to Capricorn, where it was in before, was very restricted, very following the rules. When Mercury moves into Aquarius, your communication will experience a sense of freedom, really breaking through the systems and unlocking things that were locked in your communication. Again, looking back at what happened in the US, people are just saying whatever they feel, whatever they think. They feel like there is freedom in what they say, and not realize, well, they do realize that is very damaging for a lot of people. And this is the way where the astrology can play out in a positive, or not in this way it's negative. Using the energy of freedom, of speaking up about everything that you feel in a way that is not constructive and it doesn't help other people move forward. So we can really see how this plays out where it's not constructive and where it's not helpful at all. Venus entering Capricorn. This is usually not a very soft placement of Venus, but sometimes you just need to see reality without the rose-colored glasses on, and Venus in Capricorn is exactly that. Sometimes you need a little bit more structure when it comes to your finances, maybe your relationship, so you can actually move into a different field, into a different experience. Then we're going to have the first new moon of this year. Last year, we started and ended with a Cancer full moon. This year, we start with a new moon. That's a very different type of energy. So imagine 2020 was closed off between full moons. And full moons are about releasing, about shedding layers, about getting rid of the old and being thankful for what was. And if you think back of 2020, I think it's a very fitting way of sort of encapsulating 2020, or as we start 2021 up with a new moon in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is a sign that likes to be disciplined, likes structure. It likes to follow through with things. So it's a beautiful moment that we have this new moon in Capricorn happening on January 13th at 12 a.m. Eastern Central Time and 6 in the morning Central European Time. This is really a beautiful time to sit down and set your intentions for 2021. Again, Capricorn likes discipline, it likes structure. So really allow this very grounded energy to help you determine what your priorities are in 2021. Now, if anything, 2020 has taught us that our relationship to planning and scheduling has completely shifted. We have felt that the control that we thought we had wasn't there, and that planning was impossible, and that everything had to be thrown out the door because schedules, like things change all the time. So when you're setting up your intentions for this year, allow the flexibility, allow things to be able to change and shift. So when you're setting intention, when you're setting goals, make sure that it is rooted in how you want to feel, opposed to what goals you want to achieve. That can come later, but first focus on the feeling, and then from that sort of reverse engineer. So if I want to feel this, if I want to experience this, how can that practically work? Now, if you want to dive deeper into this, next week on the 12th, I am doing a free workshop where I'm going to help you to set intentions for 2021, to be able to have them grounded in what you want to experience, and at the same time create a plan for you to make that happen. That will happen here in the Facebook group, but I will also do a Zoom call, so you can join me live, you can ask me questions, and let's just make our plan for 2021 one that we can stick to with flexibility. So having a goal and at the same time understanding the waves that we go through. On January 14th, we have Uranus direct in Taurus. Now, Uranus is obviously one of the major key players this year because it's squaring Saturn 3 times. So Uranus is really revolutionary thinker. It is not going to be comfortable, and it is not comfortable in the practical and steady Taurus. So there is kind of this contradiction when Uranus is in Taurus. So we can break free and start creating a new world based on ideas that we've never seen before. But it's going to be painful. It is not going to be without any growth pains. So we will experience some major shifts happening this year we need major shifts to happen. I mean, honestly, there is no doubt that things have to change. So allow yourself to create space for those changes, to create space for everything that is unfolding and is happening. Just a moment, because there are things that aren't working the way that I want to. On January 18th, we have Jupiter in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. So last year we had Saturn and last year Jupiter was also a lot on the playing field, but this year Jupiter is only making one major aspect with Uranus, and then because Jupiter moves very quickly, it will only be one aspect, whereas Saturn is doing 3 aspects with Uranus. So Jupiter is like a magnifying glass. It enhances everything it is near. It makes everything bigger. It makes everything more expansive. So if Jupiter is squaring Uranus, which is a challenging aspect, it will feel like the Uranus is a planet also of freedom, of liberation. So whatever will be revealed around this time, we cannot go back. Things have to shift. Things have to change. And it's also come back to what I said in the beginning about freedom. Think about what freedom means to you and what radical changes you want to see. What is it that you want to see change and shift in the world? And how can you make that happen? How can you, on a conscious level, use that energy and use that change to create a better world? Because honestly, we do need that very, very badly. On January 19th, the sun enters Aquarius. This is officially Aquarius season, not the age of Aquarius. You can check out my previous video, because this is definitely not the start of the age of Aquarius. That's a whole different topic, but I already discussed that if you want to know more about that. But this is a breath of fresh air. So Capricorn was very heavy, was very practical, very down to earth, whereas Aquarius is really this breath of fresh air. It's an air sign, and this is really what we've been looking for. Aquarius is a revolutionary thinker, thinking outside the box. So coming up with brand new ideas, with thoughts, with completely revolutionize everything that you thought was not possible. If you have felt stuck, the sun entering Aquarius will help you to get more unstuck and get everything flowing again. Let everything start moving. And it's almost like it's rewiring your brain again. So we had all these loose fragments of ideas and thoughts and things. Aquarius kind of rewires your whole brain and lets you think in a more clear and a more straightforward way. Then on January 23rd, we have Sun conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. So we only have this aspect happening once, where the Sun conjuncts with Saturn, and this year it is in Aquarius. It really puts extra emphasis behind your intentions. So the intentions that you set on the new moon on the 13th, on the 23rd, it will help you to get that extra oomph that you're like looking for, to keep moving forward and to bring your intentions into the world, because Saturn likes structure and discipline. So it will help you to move forward. And then we're going to end the month with a full moon at 9 degrees Leo. And usually a full moon is all about letting go, about releasing. Leo is about having fun, like going out and be joyful. But this full moon has a few challenging aspects. It is squaring Mars and Uranus, and it is opposing Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. So there's a lot of restriction happening around this full moon. So don't be surprised if this full moon feels like your heart wants to go left and your head wants to go right, and you feel like this conflict. And even when you just think about the new moon, where the full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite. So the ego and the heart are kind of torn between, we want to go that way, but no, we want to go that way. Because we have our sun in Aquarius and our moon in Leo. So don't be surprised if there is a lot of things happening. Leo is also very much related to your inner child. So spend time to love your inner child, to hug her, to give her attention, make her feel welcome, make her feel heard and seen, because that's very, very important, and it will help you to further release the things that is holding you back. That's actually not the last thing, because the last thing in January is Mercury stationing retrograde in Aquarius. Now, I mentioned before, Mercury in Aquarius is helping you, your language, the way they communicate, in a very revolutionary and different way. But when it goes into retrograde, we really have to rethink, reevaluate. It's really an opportunity to reflect on what have we done. And because Aquarius is an air sign, so your thinking, your rational mind would actually work in a different way than last year when we had the Mercury retrogrades in water signs, which are much more emotional. When it's an air sign, it will help us to dissect things in a more rational way instead of getting like really caught up in the emotional whirlwind. This Mercury retrograde will help us to kind of dissect what it is that needs to get done, what needs to be left behind. And this is a beautiful moment going further into the new year. The new year starts up a bit slow, or a bit slow in the sense of productivity and things that you think you can do, things you can put out into the world. It's a little bit of a slow starter, so don't be surprised if this month still feels very heavy. Because the most important thing, and the thing I already fully felt and experienced this month, is be with what you feel. Be with what is important. Make sure that you commit to your priorities, and don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say no to projects or things or events and things that may rationally make sense. But if you feel like you need to go within and rest and reflect first, and that is what you should be doing, instead of pushing yourself to go through it and ignore what is going on. So take good care of yourself. It is an intense month, and there are a lot of things that are still kind of stacking on top of each other, which makes it it could feel heavy. And the best way to make it feel less heavy is to be with the feeling of feeling heavy. Don't expect yourself to jump from high to low or low to high all of a sudden. Embrace the movement, embrace the flow, embrace where you are at the moment. And if you're interested in making 2021 a year where you are grounded in what your priorities are, what is important to you, and make sure that you keep connected and in alignment with that, I'm hosting a workshop next week, a free workshop to help you to stay in alignment with your priorities and make 2021 feel a little bit less heavy as 2020 maybe have felt, and be able to help you to connect to what is important to you. Create a plan that is flexible and moves with your changing needs and values. So I'll put a link in the comments where you can sign up, and I really look forward to see you there next week and come together as a collective and make sure that whatever we're doing in 2021 is rooted in our highest good. Thank you.